Overview of nutrition. Nutritionally is the science of food and its relationship with human health. Nutrients, chemicals that are found in foods and are used by the body to grow, provide vital functions and energy. Nutrients that cannot be synthesized by the body and that must be obtained with food are considered essential. These include vitamins, minerals, some amino acids, some fatty acids. Nutrients that are synthesized by the body from other compounds, even though they can be obtained with food, are not indispensable. Macronutrients are required by the body in relatively large quantities. Micronutrients are needed in small quantities. Nutrient deficiencies lead to malnutrition, which can cause deficiency conditions, e.g., kwashiorkor, pellagra. Excessive consumption of macronutrients leads to obesity and related disorders. Excessive micronutrient intake can be toxic. In addition, the balance of various types of nutrients in the body can affect the occurrence of disorders, for example, the amount of consumption of unsaturated fats compared to saturated fats. Macronutrients. Food mainly consists of macronutrients, which serve as a source of energy and many essential nutrients. Carbohydrates, proteins, including essential amino acids, fats, including essential fatty acids, minerals, and water are macronutrients. Carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are interchangeable as sources of energy. Fats produce 9 kilocalories per gram, 37.8 kilojoules per gram. Proteins and carbohydrates 4 kilocalories per gram, 16.8 kilojoules per gram. Carbohydrates. Food carbohydrates break down to form glucose and other monosaccharides. Carbohydrates increase the level of glucose in the blood, providing the body with energy. Simple carbohydrates are made up of small molecules, mainly monosaccharides or disaccharides, which quickly increase blood glucose levels. Complex carbohydrates are made up of large molecules that divide into monosaccharides. Complex carbohydrates increase blood glucose more slowly, but for a longer time. Glucose and sucrose are simple carbohydrates. Starch and dietary fiber are complex carbohydrates. The glycemic index is the rate at which carbohydrates consumed increase plasma glucose levels. Values range from 1, slowest increase, to 100, the fastest increase equivalent to pure glucose is the glycemic index of some foods. However, the actual rate of increase also depends on what foods the carbohydrates receive. Carbohydrates with a high glycemic index quickly increase plasma glucose levels. It is believed that as a result, insulin levels rise, causing hypoglycemia and hunger, which usually leads to the consumption of excess calories and weight gain. Carbohydrates with a low glycemic index increase plasma glucose levels slowly, which leads to lower postprandial insulin levels and lower severity of hunger, which may contribute to a lower likelihood of consuming excess calories. As a result, a more favorable lipid profile is predictably available and the risk of developing obesity, diabetes mellitus, and diabetes complications, if any, is reduced. Squirrels' dietary proteins are split into peptides and amino acids. Proteins are necessary to ensure the vital functions of tissues, their replacement, functioning, and growth. However, if the body does not receive enough calories from food sources or reserves that are contained in tissues, especially from fats, protein can be used as an energy source. The body uses dietary protein to form tissues. This is the main role of the protein-positive nitrogen balance. In catabolic conditions, for example, starvation, infections, burns, more proteins can break down, as body tissues are damaged, than obtained from food, which leads to protein loss, negative nitrogen balance. Nitrogen balance is best determined by subtracting the amount of nitrogen excreted in urine and feces from the amount of nitrogen consumed. Of the 20 amino acids, 9 are essential amino acids, EAA. They cannot be synthesized and must be obtained from food. All people need 8 EACs, babies also need histidine. The need for dietary proteins is correlated with a growth rate that decreases from infancy to adult. The daily requirement for food protein is reduced from 2.2 grams per kilogram in 3-month-old infants to 1.2 grams per kilogram in 5-year-old children and to 0.8 grams per kilogram in adults. Requirements for protein correspond to the needs for EAA, requirements for essential amino acids in milligram per kilogram body weight. Adults trying to increase muscle mass need a very small amount of extra protein in excess of the needs indicated in the table. The amino acid composition of proteins varies widely. Biological value (BC) reflects the similarity of the amino acid composition of proteins with animal tissue proteins, thus, BC shows what percentage of dietary protein provides the body with EAA. The ideal is egg white, the biological value of which is taken as 100. Animal proteins of milk and meat have a high BC, approximately 90. Proteins of cereals and vegetables have a lower BC, approximately 40. Some protein derivatives, e.g. gelatin, have a BC of 0. Proteins from different products supply the missing amino acids complementarity, which determines the complete BC of the diet. According to the recommended daily intake of protein (RSH protein), the average mixed diet has a biological value of 70. Fats break down to form fatty acids and glycerin. Fats are essential for tissue growth and hormone production. The saturated fatty acids that make up animal fats retain their solid state at room temperature. Vegetable fats, excluding palm and coconut oils, have a liquid state at room temperature. They contain high concentrations of monounsaturated fatty acids or polyunsaturated fatty acids (PUFAs). Partial hydrogenation of unsaturated fatty acids, which occurs in the industrial manufacture of food, results in the formation of trans isomers of fatty acids, which are in the solid or semi-solid state at room temperature. In the United States, the main source of fatty acid trans isomers is partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, which are used to increase shelf life in the production of certain foods, such as cookies, crackers, chips. Fatty acid trans isomers can raise low-density lipoprotein (LDL) cholesterol levels and lower high-density lipoprotein (HDL). They can also increase the risk of coronary heart disease. Essential fatty acids (EFAs) are linoleic acid, omega-6, N6, fatty acid linolenic acid, omega-3, N3, fatty acid other omega-6 acids, for example, arachidonic acid, and other omega-3 fatty acids, for example, eicosapentaenoic and docosahexaenoic acids, are necessary for the body but can be synthesized from EFAs. EFAs, essential fatty acid deficiency, is necessary for the formation of various eicosanoids, biologically active lipids, including prostaglandins, thromboxanes, prostacyclins, and leukotrienes. Consuming omega-3 fatty acids can lower your risk of developing coronary heart disease. The need for EFAs varies with age. Adults require an amount of linoleic acid equivalent to at least 2% of the total calorie intake, and linolenic acid, respectively 0.5%. Vegetable oils are rich in linoleic and linolenic acids. Fats that are made from saffron, sunflower, corn, soy, pumpkin and wheat seedlings supply a large amount of linoleic acid. Sea fish fats and oils derived from flaxseed, pumpkin, soy, and canola are rich in a large amount of linolenic acid. Fats from marine fish also provide a large amount of some other omega-3 fatty acids. Macronutrients sodium, chloride, potassium, calcium, phosphate, and magnesium requires the body on a daily basis in relatively large quantities. Macronutrients, recommended consumption rates * some macronutrients. The data of the Council of Food and Nutrition Institute of the National Academy of Medicine, Food and Nutrition Board, Institute of Medicine of the National Academies, and Mineral Daily Intake Recommendations. Water can also be classified as macronutrients, as its energy requirement is 1 milliliter per kilocalorie, 0.24 milliliters per kilojoule, or approximately 2,500 milliliters per day. The need for water changes with fever, physical activity, and changes in climate and humidity. Micronutrients are vitamins and minerals required in small quantities, trace elements. Water-soluble vitamins, vitamin C, ascorbic acid, and 8B vitamins, biotin, folate, niacin, pantothenic acid, riboflavin, vitamin B2, thiamine, vitamin B1, vitamin B6 pyridoxine, and vitamin B12 cobalamin. Fat-soluble vitamins are vitamins A, retinol, D, cholecalciferol and ergocalciferol, E, alpha-tocopherol, and K, phylloquinone and menaquinone. Only vitamins A, E, and B12 can be stored in the body. Other vitamins should be consumed regularly to maintain health. By indispensable trace elements include chromium, copper, iodine, iron, manganese, molybdenum, selenium and zinc. In addition to chromium, each of them is part of the enzymes or hormones necessary for metabolism. With the exception of iron and zinc deficiency, micronutrient deficiencies are not typical for developed countries. It is not proven that other minerals, for example, aluminum, arsenic, boron, cobalt, fluorine, nickel, silicon, vanadium, are indispensable for people. Fluorine, although not an essential trace element, is involved in the prevention of caries by forming a compound with calcium fluoride (CaF2), which stabilizes the mineral matrix of the teeth. All trace elements are toxic at high levels, and some of them, arsenic, nickel, and chromium, can cause cancer. Other food ingredients. A person's daily diet typically contains up to 100,000 chemical compounds. For example, coffee contains 1,000. Of these, only 300 are nutrients, and only a fraction of them are indispensable. However, many substances in food are not nutritious, beneficial. For example, food additives such as preservatives, emulsifiers, antioxidants, stabilizers simplify the production and storage of food products. Substances in trace amounts, for example, spices, aromatic additives, colorants, phytochemicals, many other natural additives, improve appearance and taste. Alimentary fiber. Dietary fiber exists in various forms, for example, cellulose, hemicellulose, pectin, gum, and others. They enhance gastrointestinal motility, prevent constipation and fight diverticulosis. It is believed that dietary fiber accelerates the elimination of carcinogens produced by bacteria in the colon. Epidemiological evidence suggests a link between colon cancer and low fiber intake, as well as a beneficial fiber effect in patients with functional bowel disorders, Crohn's disease, obesity, or hemorrhoids. Soluble fiber, found in fruits, vegetables, oats, barley, and beans, inhibits the postprandial increase in blood glucose and insulin levels and can lower cholesterol. A typical diet of Westerners is characterized by low consumption of dietary fiber, approximately 12 grams per day, due to the high consumption of highly refined wheat flour products and the low consumption of fruits and vegetables. It is generally recommended that you increase your dietary fiber intake to about 30 grams per day by consuming more vegetables, fruits, and high-fiber cereals. However, very high fiber intake can reduce the absorption of certain minerals. Like my video. Subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to watch videos, more information about health and fitness.